Hello everyone. Today I'd like to reflect on the meaning of icons, especially the icons that I've experienced in my life, in particular the icons that I own, but also how they have become a window into the church for me, into the Orthodox Church. The eagle-eyed among you who have seen other videos of mine will notice there's something different in the background. Usually a couple of icons are on the wall behind me. Today is a painting by my grandmother, which, as you can see, features gold, and it features Russian women traditionally dressed. My grandmother was Russian, and the source of some of my inspiration in terms of the beauty of Russia, the beauty of the Orthodox Church, and what eventually led me to coming into the church. And so my grandmother died about 25 years ago, and I inherited an icon from my grandmother, a mid-19th century icon. And I kept it for a while, and at some point, long before I came to God, God came to me, I felt that it was a family heirloom that I should pass on to my son. So I gave my icon to my son. And then when my conversion happened, I had a little sadness. I was happy that he had it. And I had a little sadness that I no longer had an icon. And then my sister lent me her beautiful icon that I'm holding up here. The Mother of God with Christ child, the Christ child. She lent it to me to be valued, and I took it to a professional valuer of Russian religious art, who felt that it was not worth a sufficient amount of money for them to give an exact quote, and so they didn't want to charge me for that, and so I took it home with me and kept it for a little while. And then after a while I offered it back to my sister. I said, would you like your icon back? And she said, no, that's fine, you can keep it, which I was very, very touched by. And it actually sat in a drawer for a long time. And then at some point before my conversion experience, which was almost 2 years ago, I felt that I wanted to bring it out of the drawer and put it up on the wall. And I began to look at it every day. Then God came into my life. And then I began looking for my church. And at some point I thought I might become Catholic. And eventually I came to the Orthodox Church. I've spoken about that before in a previous video, how the influence of my family roots and the beautiful experience of going to a Russian Orthodox cathedral and all the beauty of the icons and the gold everywhere and the frescoes and so on and the beautiful singing brought me into the Orthodox Church. But also I feel that having this icon on the wall and looking at it more than once every day actually was part of what was drawing me into the church. This beautiful icon, I believe this is silver or silver plated. This is painted in oil. Unfortunately, it's degraded a little bit, the oil. It hasn't been stored in ideal conditions, but it's really a beautiful and spectacular icon in the Russian style, the mid-19th century style. And for a long time, that was the only icon that I owned. And then last Christmas, my brother said that he had a present for me, and I didn't know what to expect. And it turned out that he decided to give me both of his icons. And I suppose, obviously, that's related to the fact that I had become Orthodox, come into the Orthodox Church. And so I would like to share these icons with you. This is Christ with scripture known as Christ Pantokrator, Greek word meaning ruler of all, or almighty, I believe. And this is behind glass, so I will open the front there, and you'll see the gilt more clearly. I believe this is gilt over silver or brass. I'm actually not entirely sure. I don't know what the scripture is there. I've tried to find out, but it's written in Church Slavonic, and I can look that up and come back to you about exactly what it means. But this is also, I believe, this is oil, and this is gold leaf over I'm not exactly sure what. I haven't taken this one to a professional valuer. But the gold, as I've spoken about in previous videos, gold really resonates with me. It really touches me. It really moves me. And this is up on my wall alongside a similar icon, Russian, mid-19th century again, of the Mother of God and Christ, a similar style to the previous icon. These three icons are up on my wall above my altar, and I kiss them every day, make the sign of the cross, I waft incense over them, part of my morning ritual. And I suppose something to say about the meaning of icons. I could say I have a book called The Meaning of Icons by Vladimir Ouspensky, so perhaps in a future video I might go more into the official theological church theory about what icons represent. Not just theory, but what icons represent in the history of the church. But really this is a personal reflection on the significance of icons to me. For those that don't know, in the Orthodox Church, we are not worshipping the icons, we are not venerating the icon itself, but we are venerating that which it represents. It is a window to God, a window to the saints, depending on what is depicted in the icon, through which we see the glory of God, through which we can experience theosis, this connection which I spoke about in my video on prayer and meditation and theosis, with God's energies. And in a broader sense, my understanding is that all of creation can be seen as an icon of God's glory, can stand in for God's glory. However, in an actual official icon, a scene from the life of Christ is crystallized into the image. And in the case of the icons I've shared with you, Christ and the Mother of Christ. In many other icons, they depict scenes from the Gospels. And there is a particular style when Christ is represented as a child, as a baby. You'll have noticed that he doesn't look like a baby. He often looks like a small man, which is symbolic of the fact that he was God in the flesh. He wasn't a baby, he was Christ in his original form as he was conceived. He was, of course, a human baby, but that's the reason that he's not depicted in a baby-like way, but he looks like a miniature grown man because of his special, in fact, unequaled being, which is not that of just human, but human and divine. And being in the presence of these icons, one feels one's spirit elevated. One feels one is fully in communication with God. In church, many people kiss the icons and light a candle in front of the icons. And if we're lucky enough to have icons at home, we can perform our ritual, and then we have that daily connection with the beauty of God, the beauty of Christ, the beauty of the Mother of God, the beauty of the energies of God. And just the fourth icon I'd like to show you, my sister actually brought me back from Zakynthos, and this is St Dionysius, the patron saint of Zakynthos. I don't know how well you can see it actually. There it is. And one of the things he's remembered for is his incredible power of forgiveness. He actually forgave the killer of his brother. And I'm working to completely forgive, as in the Lord's Prayer, all of those who have trespassed against me, and I think I'm doing quite well. At the same time, I want to work even harder on forgiving absolutely everybody, letting go, so that I can be free, so that I can achieve kenosis, which I mentioned in a previous video, the emptying of the self in order to be with the glory of God. And so these are just some of my reflections on icons, and perhaps in a future video I might go more into the deeper meaning and significance of icons within the church, but this is just a reflection on what icons have represented in my life. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd love to hear any of your comments, reflections and thoughts. And if you'd like to subscribe, that would be very welcome. If you'd like to share the video, likewise. And I look forward to sharing more on the beauty of visual, written, and natural elements of creation in relation to the sacred.